New software for the Mavic Mini. I bought some new software yesterday, and it allows me to run waypoint missions on the Mavic Mini now. Uh, that's not what they call it, but we're going to try one here today. So this is done on the internet, on a web browser. Right here's the house. So I'm going to run this first test mission right here, which they call a plan again. And let's go into the plan here. And you can see that it's going to take off from out behind the house in the basement where I do most of my stuff, out the back door. Then it's going to fly over to the field where the landlord's building the new house right here where this grove of trees was removed at 160 feet. All this is going to be done at 160 feet, hopefully above those trees. Got to be good and got to trust stuff and got to do good plans if you want to fly in this property. Then it's going to fly to this field, across the driveway to this field, out behind the property to the orchard, and there it's going to do a 360, and then hopefully it's going to return home and come right here and land. We'll see. So this software allows a preview, which is the same as a simulation in other software. We can see down here below there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 components to this plan. Some captures of video. Says I'm going to make it on one battery. I have to try one that takes more than one battery to see if it actually returns to launch site, accepts the second battery, and then picks back up in the mission where it was. That's going to be fun. So I've got some of these things turned on to verify that it went or is going to go to an altitude of 160 feet for the entire mission. Yes, that should keep it above the trees. I also want to look real quick here. We have horizontal distance from takeoff. Going to scroll up just a little. We're getting to 160 feet right here. So we'll scroll down. And yep, it's not moving until it gets to altitude. Looks like it's changing some speeds in here, but that's neither here nor there. I'll turn this on. We'll try to position this map where we can see it all here. And then we'll simulate it by clicking run here, but I'm going to at some point speed it up. I'll tell you when I do that. So here we go. Run the simulation. You can see right here we're going up in altitude. In this picture simulation over here, we're going up in altitude. We're at 67 feet, 78 feet over here. We're just about to get high enough to allow horizontal movement. There's our line coming up over here. Now we can allow horizontal movement so we can see our distance in feet here. We can also see the little red drone dot here moving at 5 miles an hour, heading for waypoint 1. That isn't what this software calls it. The software calls it destination. Destination, destination. This software does so much you're going to be shocked. You can barely see over here that this is sort of moving in the direction, but I can't tilt it down to see a ground track. I'll have to educate myself. Going to be a lot of educating going on here, won't there? So we'll go for 2 times speed here to speed this up. Here we are approaching waypoint 1. We hit waypoint 1 in this right picture. You can see when it hits waypoint 1, it changes direction, heads for the front field. There it is, still staying at 160 feet. You can see in the simulation. Hits waypoint 2, it reorients towards my landlord's current house and comes to the front field, still at 160 feet. Hits waypoint 3, destination 3, whatever nomenclature you want to use. It heads for waypoint 4, destination 4, and still at 160 feet. Now this is linked to a program in my cell phone where what I'm doing here and what I'm planning here will be in my cell phone. So I'll hook my cell phone to the Mavic Mini as I normally do, and I'll just tell it to run this plan, and we'll see. I've told it to turn on the camera, various things, sundry things. You'll see this as we go. Now we're getting to the waypoint out over the orchard where I told it to do a 360-degree rotation clockwise. There starts the rotation. You can see it on the left screen. You can also see it on the right screen. It'll do a 360-degree rotation, or whatever you tell it to do. This is why I love drones. I love a completely autonomous mission that works perfectly. I get great pleasure from that. So, there it is. It's starting the plan over again, or the mission over again. But that's how it works. We'll see if this actually functions. And also, it doesn't show the return to home, which is the last. If we go in here and go into my default settings, action on finish, you can see return home here. Hopefully it'll return home. Either it's return to home height, or it's 160 feet here. We'll see how all that works. Hopefully I can stop this at any time, or I'm going to have a drone hanging out of a tree here. $400 hanging up in the top of a tree 50 feet above me. I can't do a damn thing about. So let's see what happens. Okay, those rotations are really fast. I need to find a way to slow those down. The gimbal is flat, level, 0 degrees. Probably need to drop that down. There's still a little fall color left. Not a lot, but a bit. On the way over to this waypoint, I did tilt the gimbal down right here manually. Wouldn't go any further down than that on my manual control wheel. And as soon as I let the wheel go, it just raised back up. There you go. It should have let me point it straight down, but it didn't. Hit that waypoint. I'm going to need to slow those rotations down. That's all there is to it. Also, at the end of all this, I'll just go ahead and tell you now, while I'm filling time on this flight, that it did do the return to home at the end, but it started coming down about 20 feet west, southwest of the point it took off from, which would have brought it down in the top of a really big tree. Boy, it just jerks around. So I was able to tweak the joysticks to move it to the right a little and move it away from the tree, and then I moved it backwards a little to get it within 10 feet of the point it took off, and then I let it land in my hand, which didn't work too good for me because it props got my fingers. Yeah, one more jerky turn. There you go. Heading for the backfield now. Also, although I have default global turned on for video capture, I also found that it turned off the video when the return to home initiated. So at the end, when it goes over to the waypoint in the orchard here, it does its 360. When it completes that 360, which is technically the end of this mission plan, it shut off the video. And then it did its return to home route and started its descent for landing, and never turned the video back on. So I may have to go in and make those a component of my mission or plan. I'm going to just start using these words interchangeably, and I'll quit using both of them as time goes by. There's the landlord's house and the landlord's son's house. He won school board. So anyway, this is going to come up to the end of the rotation. There's a bird just flew by. I'll tack that on the end of this video. But anyway, thanks for watching. Oh man, please tell me that's not a hawk.